Good morning, little potato chips. How you doing? And another wee video for you today. And this is an interesting video to me. they're all interesting to me. Um, but this is a question about your grail knife. As everybody knows my channel, this is my grail knife, and it was my first grail knife, and it will be the only true grail knife because I believe that once you realise you're into knives and you have that pick of a grail knife in your head, that a grail can only be one time. So has this knife lived up to its status as the grail knife in my collection? Let's go back a little bit. About 5 years ago, after, you know, watching YouTube for years, but also starting to collect knives. Now, at that time, things change in life. So at that time, 5 years ago, I was working. I didn't have a lot of spare cash. So my knives were budget. For that reason and that reason alone, that I didn't have the excess money uh, to do it. Things have changed in that 5 years. So has my knife tastes changed. But this has always remained my grail knife. And I've sort of come to the conclusion I'm not going to have another grail. I have lots of knives that I want, but they're never going to be that grail. I honestly thought when I came around, because I started off very budget and sort of mid-range knives, this was way out of anything I thought I would ever spend on a knife. How many times have you heard that? Hundreds, I know. But this was way out of my price bracket. And when I got it, it was still way out of my price bracket. This was a gift from Jeff Jewell, the best sharpener on YouTube. Get over to his channel. If you don't, get over, go to his back catalogue of videos on sharpening. And whatever stage you are, he'll improve your sharpening. He's an amazing fella. And the most gently spoken fella you'll ever get as far as tuition goes. He's just amazing. He sent me this. I danced around my front room with excitement, and it was pure joy that somebody from the other side of the world, nearly, in America, would send to a wee Paddy over in Ireland who had just been collecting for probably not even a year then. Well, no, I'd been collecting a year, but I didn't have a YouTube channel for less than a year probably when I got this knife. I was elated, and when I got it and I seen it, and the first time it came in the box, I lifted it out of the box and I thought, oh my God, that's tiny. And I put it in my hand and I thought, oh, I was used to heavier, cheaper knives. This was just beyond anything I had. And if anybody goes back to the old Ganzos, they had an axis lock or a G lock, but by God, it used to take you about 2 weeks of sitting doing this. Oh, this to get the knives to break in, where this was just drop shot out of the box. And I was absolutely astounded. And once I got over, it wasn't so much the size, it was the weight and everything else, the slimness of the knife. Oh my gosh, I have loved this knife ever since. It has never changed from being my grail knife. So I will probably never, I know you can't say never, but I think I'm going to say this with a fair deal of confidence. This is the one and only grail knife I'll ever have. And this is the one and only knife, one of the one and only knives that will never leave my collection because it was a grail. And if we get a grail, unless it's very disappointing, why would you ever get rid of that knife? Because it was a goal you didn't think you would attain, but you attained. I know there's a lot of well-off people can go different things, but everybody has a grail. And it doesn't matter what the price range it is, it's a grail. So the price has nothing to do with a grail. The price is what to do, obviously, with what you are and where you think you would love to end up. This was where I'd love to end up, having this style of knife. Little did I know the financial things would change a bit. I inherited a bit of money. I was able to buy a lot more knives. I've spent all that now, so I'm back to being budget man. So, well, I'm not budget man, but I don't have that spare cash that I had for a couple of years there. But the grail is still there. And I tested that, really did a test when I bought this knife. Here, the tiny grail. I wanted to see what it was like, and I've reviewed this a couple of times just short, quick reviews on what I think of it. And I put it up against this knife. And I can't. They're two completely different animals. They really are two completely different knives. Look at the size difference. That's over an inch in difference. That's a big difference in a pocket knife. That's a big difference in a pocket knife. Much smaller, much tighter in the hand because the handle's smaller. And you know, I'm a medium-large hand. I can get all four. My fourth finger wraps around the end here, but that's all right. This is a perfect grip, the perfect size, the perfect weight. Everything about it. The blade steel is S30V. I absolutely love S30V. I would take it over most things because it is so good. It lasts as long as I'll ever need it to last, and it sharpens really easy and gets a super keen edge. So the blade steels are both the same in this. The handle material on my grill is aluminium. This is G10. I didn't know whether I would like the G10 over the aluminium. I love this. This aluminium, I think, is just absolutely super. It fits my hands to perfection. You know, it is just there. It's exactly what I need. Jeff had done a wee mod to it. Well, he'd done roughly because he was using this as a work knife where I can sneak up, and I can sneak up comfortably if I need to. You know, a choil would have been a great thing for the newer 940s. Why they didn't do a choil, I don't understand, because it was crying out for one, and it would have modernized it a bit more than what it has been. Maybe that'll come a time where they'll put a forward choil on it. I hope so, because I think it will improve it. You know, as a knife, is it the best knife in the world? Probably not the best knife in the world, but as an EDC knife, as hundreds and hundreds of people can attest to, this will take on any task you want. Any task you want at all. It's not a super slicey knife, but it'll slice. It's not a completely rugged knife, but it's thick enough, and the tip is great for pointing, even undoing screws. I know you shouldn't do that, but this was built as a work knife. It wasn't built as a little, you know, pocket knife. It was built as something you took out, you worked. There's a super long blade for all the size of it. I'll just give you I can't even tell you off the top of my head. Let me just see what length that blade is. So it is a 3-inch cutting edge on that blade, 3 1/4 long, a 3-inch cutting blade. That is just all you ever need. 3 to 3 1/4 on any knife, any work knife, would be as much as I will ever need. Then I got this, which is definitely at least half an inch shorter. Let's just do that now while I'm here. Let's just see where I am. This one is 2 3/4, so it's actually only a 1/4 of an inch shorter on the blade. Just all I'll ever need for an EDC knife. And to be honest, EDC is what I do most of the time. I don't do any work anymore. I'm not, you know, other than work around the house. And if it's work that I really want, something that I'm not afraid to poke or pry with, you know, when you're doing handyman work, that sort of thing, working with wood and things like that, where you want to bore something or stick your knife in and give it a bit of a twist. That's the knife I call for, and it's never let me down. Now, bear in mind, Jeff is a manual worker, and he put it through hell, and it never let him down. So that is just, you know, that's for, you know, I don't have to prove how good a knife the 940 is. It's been proven over and over and over again, and it's still around after 20 years. How many of the Civivis are going to be around after 20 years? I don't know. But they brought this out, and to be honest with you, I held off for such a long time. I didn't want to spend that much money on I don't need that many EDC knives. And when I buy something, it usually stays in the collection for however long, but it stays there. You know, it's a knife I'm going to keep, and I am definitely keeping this now, because this has turned into be an absolutely cracking, just an absolutely super EDC knife. It's smaller. It's not that much thinner. In fact, I don't even think it's any thinner at all. But it's just, look at that. It is just a beautiful, beautifully made knife, much as that 940 is. The difference between that 940 and this is that was my grail, and it holds a special place. I just wonder if everybody else's grail holds a special place. But to bring this question that's going to be asked, well, Stephen, which one would you buy if you had to do the same again? And if I could only have one of these, it will be this one every day. This is no less as good. A bit lighter on the blade stock's a bit thinner. It's a bit shorter. You know, it doesn't have that full work balance that the 940 has. But as an EDC knife, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And if I'm just doing an average day work, this will go in my pocket. That's for harder tasks. But that is still my grail. And I don't think it's ever going to change. I don't think I'm ever going to use them words again. This is a grail, because when you think about it, the grail is the one knife, when you get it, you've got it. The rest are inconsequential. Oh, for goodness sake. My teeth are slipping all over my face. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter what else you get. That first grail, the excitement I got for that, I've never danced for another knife. Not that I won't do in the future, but I might do. You know, I might do. But these two together are two different knives, and I'm not going to compare them together. This to me is a smaller package, easier to carry as an EDC in my pocket, and with a slip joint as well. Do you know what I mean? I put a wee slip joint in my front pocket. This will go in as well. Slip joints in the sheath, not going to annoy each other whatsoever. It's the only two things that will be in my front right pocket. But this, if I want a bit of work to do, is the knife that I'll go for every time. Over the vast amount of knives that I've had and have now, this is still my favourite to do a bit of work with. It still feels the most comfortable. It still brings me the joy it done. And yeah, I've got many more knives now that are, you know, much better materially, for want of, you know, just saying something. But the materials, you know, knife blade steel doesn't bother me anymore. Knife handle material, yeah, it does. It's not as long as it's comfortable, I really don't mind what it is, because I've got that many different kinds, from bone to wood to aluminium to G10 to titanium. You know, I've got all that range, and as long as it's comfortable, I don't care really what it is. Except when I wanted my grail knife was always a green one. They had just started bringing out the G10 versions and a titanium one, I think, before I got that. They just started bringing them out, but I only wanted the green one. And I suppose it was that historical thing that the 940 had meant so much to the knife community. But to try and compare, you know, a big knife with a smaller knife, there's another example. Two slip joints, one big knife, one smaller knife. They both cut things. They'll both do most jobs that I ever have to do in a day. In fact, they'll do all jobs I ever have to do in a day. But you can't pick them. You can't put them in the same bracket, because yes, they're the same maker, but they're not the same knife. Otherwise, that would be called a 940 and not a 945. So I'm not going to judge them. I'm going to say I have a pick when I'm doing certain jobs, and I'll pick either one of them. They're absolutely fantastic knives. Love them, and would recommend either or for anybody. And it's just the size difference you want. If you're going to beat a knife to death, you know, I'll definitely the 940. If it's an EDC pocket, they're both good for EDC, let's be honest. But for EDC, for me and my hand, this is better. It's smaller, lighter, and it just does the job perfectly. And like, we're talking about other knives that I've got that could be competition for the grail knife. There's that. There's my Hinderer Slippy. You know, it's just an absolutely outstanding knife that I never thought I would get. I never thought I would get this way beyond this. I mean, this I thought I'd never get, but I got. This is an Ashley Harrison custom knife. Not as expensive as either of them two, but my goodness, I could call that a grail knife. I'd never had anybody make a knife for me, so I could call that a grail knife, if you like. It's a knife that I'll never change, because it's the first. You know, this is my first Hinderer. This is my first custom. That was my first grail, and that means a lot. And then just recently this week, another knife that's come in, which was going to play a huge role in my knife process, because, you know, I've decided that, yeah, you know, it's worth saving up and getting some really high-end knives, because I like them now. Do you know what I mean? I like them, and I've got that ability where I can save up if I want to get, you know, most knives in the mid to just creeping up to that high end. 300's high end. I ain't going more than 300 anymore. That's my limit of where I'm going to go. And that's not because I couldn't get one, because I could probably save and I could sell a stack of knives, and I've done that to move my channel on. But I just don't feel that for me, I need to go higher than £300. Now, there's one knife that would break that rule, and it's a Chris Reeve. And it's the Chris Reeve number 31, the new edition of the Chris Reeve knives. That's one knife I would absolutely love to have. And it's the only knife that I think I will break that 300 barrier for. So there you go. That's it. Is your grail knife the one that you, when you've got it, or if you haven't got it, what is it? Let me know down below. But if you've had a grail knife and you've got it, do you then call the next great thing a grail knife, or do you stick with just the one? I'm sticking with just the one because of what it meant, who it came from, and what it meant to me at that time to have this in my collection. I actually felt part of the community. I know that's terrible, and it's a money thing. I actually felt a proper part of the community when I had a really good knife in my collection. And that's wrong, because all the knives I had before that, I enjoyed them and had so much excitement over them. But this one just changed that thinking process. Just changed the thinking process on so many levels. But these are all beautiful, beautiful knives that in my collection, I feel honoured to have some of them. They're just beautiful. So there you go. Let me know what your grail knife is, or if you've got it, is that it? Is there only one grail knife, or can you have plenty of grail knives? I'm not sure. For me, it's just one. There you are. Decision made. Paddy's made a decision. And the next decision is cup of tea time. All the best, folks. Thanks very much for listening. Bye now.